Are live. Do 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 do.
That is correct. This is a true statement.
How do you know? Did you get a notification?
No, I'm just
All right.
trusting, and my
No.
trust was confirmed by that Twitch notification.
Excellent.
All right,
Um, so what are we reviewing today?
we are reviewing Bipp.
I don't know what the correct way to say this. It's all in caps, and I don't know if that's for a reason. Um, Orthuss says, "Here's another quick practicey track. Enjoy or don't. I'm not the boss of you." Well, I've seen it at least. I think I watched it once or maybe twice, and I definitely enjoyed it.
I had a good
Um,
time.
you want
This,
to watch it before we say any more, or do you want to say anything
yeah.
before we start?
I also wanted to say I don't even know if I'm the boss of me, so thank you for that. So, without further ado, let's get into this.
All right, here we go. Three, two, one, go.
I love this opening. Like, it's not just like I'm gonna get into it and just immediately does something. Like, it's simple. The editing works. It goes with the music. Cute, and the music is weird. Like, just in a very general sense. Alright, so some context. This music is from a label called PC Music. The music is sort of this like bug fuck maximalist stuff. I love these hits.
I think. Um, I sorry, I was messing with some audio things. We got some weird, but the what stands out to me is that he's clearly having fun, but it also like there's some really cool moments where it syncs. Like it's not like what was the one we watched last of his? Wandering had some of those like motifs that were used, and this has less of that, but he's clearly like he's able to do more things than he was with that one. So I think, like you said, it's like a practice track where he's like exploring lots of different things.
Yeah, and I think that context is important.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like he's doing some stuff just to make sure he can do it, and
Yeah. On the other hand, I feel like I don't know. I generally like practice tracks are great for getting better, but then I don't know. Practice implies that it's like there's going to be tracks that aren't practice tracks, And maybe that's not true. Maybe he's just planning on making quote unquote practice tracks forever. In which case, cool. I don't know.
I think everything.
I don't know. I mean,
Everything.
because I've talked to him about this, and he seems to like just sort of. He seems to be like of the mindset of I'm just going to make stuff that's fun for me to make. But then calling it a practicey track, that makes me go, wait, does that mean that there's going to be
Are we building up to
non-practicey? Yeah.
the Orthuss magnum opus
I missed my
masterpiece?
favorite
TM.
moment. I was going to point it out when it happened.
I'm just watching through this again.
This always happens.
I think one thing this does
Just a second.
that I like a lot.
Okay, whatever. I'm having all these audio problems. Like as soon as we start reviewing, for some reason you always get a lot louder. And all right, go ahead with your thought.
So the thing I like about this track is that in removing the pressure from himself to like, I don't know, make a track that has to do all the stuff, has to be intense and the best. He kind of has freed himself to make a lot of stuff very in the moment. It's very much like improvisation. Like, I like the way he sort of takes the general themes of the songs, and he doesn't like plan out necessarily what is going to happen at each moment, but like he sort of looks ahead to the next couple moments of the song, and it's like, oh, I could do a fun thing here, and it leads to a lot of fun.
A lot of what? Your mic is cutting in and out for some reason.
Fun moments.
Oh, yeah.
Where he tries syncing to different things.
Do you want to watch it again?
Yeah.
I would like to watch it again because I wasn't able to actually watch it as closely the first time. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. I need to unmute it. Ready again?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go.
The one thing I if I have to nitpick with that intro is there's the letters going across and him tumbling on each hit, and my eye is going between the two, and my attention is like sort of between the two, so I don't fully comprehend what the title is saying.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's a good point.
For the sake of like, I understand it says Bipp by Orthuss, but for the sake of clarity, when you go to stay next to it, just sort of plotting at.
What are you saying? What was that?
Like when it does the sync hit and the letter appears, like have it stay instead of disappear.
I really can't hear what you're saying.
Like static, or just you don't understand?
Your mic is turning on and off.
I have really bad
Really bad what?
internet.
Your video is coming through fine. It's your sound, and it's not coming through in low quality. It's just turning on and off. Like I'm missing words.
Oh, let's go to. I'm so sorry, Orthuss.
Well,
all right, hold on.
I guess I can say. Well, I can hear you sometimes. Like sometimes it's fine, and then sometimes you'll say a sentence, and I'll hear every other word for some reason.
Okay. So, the titles. I'm gonna say everything.
Yeah, you said we heard about the titles. It was whatever you said after the titles, or maybe we were just continuing about the titles. I couldn't tell.
Yeah. My suggestion, so that you're not having to split your focus between constantly appearing and disappearing letters, so I understand what the title says.
Oh, make them not disappear?
Yeah, basically, they just appear, and then once they form as a group and the intro happens, they disappear after that.
Yeah.
That way, I don't have to focus all my attention on the letters and the tumbling at the same time.
Yeah.
Though I kind of find that's sort of the same sort of gripe I have with PC music in general. The music label, not the term politically correct. PC music tends to be really kind of maximalist in the same way. By which I mean it like divides my attention between a bunch of things, and that's something that this track actually doesn't do, which I find interesting for the most part, aside from that moment of editing.
I mean,
this track is
pretty fast-paced and high energy, and there's a lot of things happening. But that's, I don't know, maybe, I think you're just maybe reading it as not that many things happening because we've been just, it's a standard quirk, you know? But quirk is a lot of things happening that you can't really follow for the average person.
Yeah, most people would look at this and be like, what's happening? Like, I can comprehend he's switching between these flings and kind of rolling.
Yeah.
Between them.
I'm going to watch it again and talk about the track itself?
Yes.
Right. 3. Are you ready?
Yep.
3.
How's my mic?
It's good now. 3,
okay.
2, 1, go.
Yeah, I like the way it's slow for the minute, and then as the tone sort of rises in pitch, the speed also rises.
The tone... I see the speed changes as somewhat arbitrary, to be honest.
I'm only talking specifically about the first one.
Oh, just about the very beginning?
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite part right there, where he, like, pauses.
Yeah.
Like, I think zero rotation airtime is a really great tool for when there's like a pause in the music. Like that one really memorable moment from Jam.
Yep. I like that he tries syncing the sort of breaks to different parts of it, because the breaks have like 3 different bits. Like they have the person singing, they have the sort of like synth, and then they have the bass drum kind of doing its own thing in the background. And he syncs to different ones each time.
I'm not sure what you mean by the bass drum doing its own thing in the back. There's a bass synth, and there's a high synth, and there's vocals.
Yeah.
And the bass synth and the high synth are doing pretty much the same thing, but like several octaves apart.
Hold on.
And then there's the drum beat, which is very sparse.
Yeah, this part right there. So that part, there was that sort of sub-bass drum.
Oh, I can't hear it.
I've got good headphones. So that's the part he was syncing to.
I don't know what part you were talking about. It went by like so many times. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to talk about a specific, very small moment when we're watching like the whole thing, because we can't watch it in slow-mo because it's music synced, and you can't hear the music in slow-mo. But then when it's,
and I'm gonna soapbox
go ahead
on this. I think I think it's asking too much of the viewer to be like, hey, you should stop and look and appreciate all these little moments that happen in the middle of chaos. Just in general, I'm not talking about this track. This track
I was gonna say I don't think this track does that. This track sort of does a better job than most work at making sense.
Yeah.
Like there's a flurry of action, but it all like it doesn't. There's nothing that's like, oh, I have to pause this in order to see what's happening.
But like even with this one, which does it better than a lot of tracks, we still have a tough time identifying the same moment, right?
Yeah, like I don't have a clue what you're talking. You want to watch it again? You want to watch it in slow-mo? I don't know.
Yeah, let's watch
it again. Do? All right, I'll just hit the play button after counting down. 3, 2. Wait, no, I'm gonna actually put it to the beginning. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah, we'll find it. I'll let you know when it's coming up. But like that, we have to do that. I don't know. I feel like I enjoy tracks more when they have.
I think what stands out to me is that there's a lot of different ways that he syncs to lots of different things, and it's very varied, and it just comes off across as like, I'm gonna try a whole bunch of different things, which is fine, but it's very typical.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like when I watch this track, it's like there's some really cool moments that I like, but then like it doesn't, like there's nothing memorable that I take away from it, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's nothing that, like between the time when I first watched this track and the review, there was no time when I was like, oh yeah, that thing that Bipp did. Like there wasn't anything that Bipp did, you know, because it did all these different things. Were you going to point something out?
No, it's later in the track.
Oh, okay. There's definitely like a lot of, like sometimes he syncs to the drums, sometimes he syncs to the synth, sometimes he syncs to the points, and I can't really tell if there's a rhyme or reason to when. I don't think there is. I think it's just whatever he felt like making, you know, at that point. And it's like making sure that nothing ever, like it always matches something.
Here it is.
Oh, this part?
Yeah.
That part? Yeah, where he sings to the bass drum that's doing its own thing. I see what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's probably synced to that because there's nothing else to sync to.
Yeah.
So like it's interesting because it's one of those tracks where I like watch it and I'm like, this was really fun. I enjoyed that a lot. I liked this moment and this moment. And then, like, a week later, I couldn't tell you anything about the track except that it was Fling Quirk. You know?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing that I'm like, oh, yeah, it was that. And I'm going to be like, I might remember the song, and I might remember, like, this, like, the overall style. It was like, yeah, it was Fling Quirk. But there's no, like, there's nothing that stood out to me to the point where I actually remembered it. Which, you know, maybe that's not the goal of the track. But that was my takeaway from it.
Yeah. Like, there's nothing in here where I'm like,
which is,
oh
I don't,
boy,
I don't know if this is
I'm going to
helpful
remember this for ages or
form,
anything like that. I don't necessarily think that was the intent.
But I don't know what the intent was, because the intent was just to have fun, then maybe we shouldn't be reviewing it. But I wanted to review because I liked it, so I don't know. So I guess all we can really talk about is like what we would like to see, which I guess for me is more theming, more motifs, take these, because like Orthuss is like he can do lots and lots, like his tool bag is very diverse at this point. Like he can do lots of different things, and there's lots of, like, there's always moments whenever he releases a track, there's always like these moments that I'm like, I really like these moments, but then like as a whole it always feels like there's not much there for me, and that's obviously my personal take, which is all I can really talk about. What about you?
Yeah, it's solid. It's not the second coming of Jesus. I had some fun watching it.
Yeah.
I don't have a whole lot to like take away. I think generally this song is pretty sparse in terms of its production, and so there's a lot of it that was just stuff was happening when all that was happening in the back of this thing was just two things: the synth and the singing.
Well, that's a thing. Just, I mean, I've seen that. Like, I think that's just a characteristic of music sync work in general. Is like there are gonna be flings, regardless of whether a fling matches the song. You know.
Yeah.
But I think that's just because it's like Orthuss was like, I'm gonna make a fling quirk track to this song. You know, not like I'm gonna try to match the track to the song. You know, I don't know. It's just a different approach.
Yeah, I get that.
Orthuss says in the chat, all I want to do is make quirk that's not boring to watch. Well, mission accomplished then. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you have fun and you entertain people. I guess the question would be, do you want it to be interesting to watch? Like, how big of an audience do you want to have is the question there. Because if you're fine with an audience of, you know, a couple dozen, then mission accomplished. But then if you wanted to reach more people than people who are already playing Line Rider, then that's where it gets trickier.
Yeah. Yeah, we're at the point where we're kind of
repeating ourselves. I think we've said everything that we need to say about this track. And I don't think this needs to be any longer.
Yeah, I do have sort of a final thought.
Yeah, go for it.
Very, very general. Just in thinking about the scope of where we are in terms of, like, as a Line Rider community, like, do we, we do have to think about how and why we make tracks, and we have to think about that, I think, critically. And if we come to the conclusion that we're okay with making tracks for specific audiences, that's an okay thing to do. If you want to expand that, that's also okay.
I mean, I can just add on to that by saying that I think a lot of the stuff that I end up critiquing is when people are making something that is ostensibly designed to impress as many people as possible, but then it only appeals to a niche audience, you know?
But I think what's important...
But then it's really hard to tell, like, it's hard to tell when it's doing that and when it's not, you know, I don't know.
I think something important, Orthuss,
most of us would like a large audience, though, wouldn't we? I mean, I don't know, it seems weird to me for people to be like, I don't want a larger audience, like, you want people to, I mean, everyone wants, and we make something, you want people to see it. I don't know. That just, I guess, maybe it's something
Anyway,
I don't understand in there.
my point here, and I think the most important thing is Orthuss, whatever you choose to do, you should be making things for an audience the audience that you want, whatever that is, and it should, as long as you're making something that you're happy with, and you're and that you're satisfied with making, whatever the audience scope is, that's an okay thing to do.
I don't. Yes, at the same time though, I don't know how much we can critique tracks if someone says, well, my audience is myself, or my audience is like you two, because and
that's the thing with a lot of these quick reviews is that
and no one ever really
sort of meant to be more for
is
a
explicit
general
about
audience.
my audience, and because no one really is like, I'm making this only for this audience, so it's always a mixed bag. But excuse me. Yeah, I don't know, but I think I don't think there's anything else to say on that. I feel like I would like to know what else we can talk about, especially with Orthuss' tracks, because we always come back to this thing where it's like, it's fun, there's things that you could do to appeal to more people, including us. But I didn't hate it. I enjoyed watching it. It was fun to make. Good job. Like, what else is there to say, you know? So I don't know.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something for the future to think about.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess that's all we have to say about this one. It was fun.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. See ya.